In the land of biology, human beings are what are known as an organism. Now, organisms are actually just an accumulation of many different smaller components all packaged together. So you can think of it as a hierarchy. And at the base level of that hierarchy, you have the chemical levels. This is where you're going to find atoms, molecules, chemical energy. It's the land of chemistry and the land of physiology. When we're talking about how things are really functioning, this is the level that we're really talking or looking at. But just above that, you have the cellular level. And human beings are made of a ton of different cells, right? You have epithelial cells, nervous cells, you have myocytes, you have fibroblasts, right? And each of them are going to have their own specific function, right? A nervous cell or a neuron is going to be different than a cardiomyocyte. They're both cells, but they have very different functions. But if you put similar cells together in mass, you get what's known as a tissue. So for instance, your epidermis is made of epithelial tissue, which is made up of epithelial cells. Then, if you put two or more tissues together, you can get what's called an organ. Now, these tissues need to be working together for some kind of common function. So if you think to the lungs, for example, your lungs are made of connective tissue, epithelial tissue, blood vessels, and all of those tissues are working together to essentially just get oxygen into the bloodstream and carbon dioxide out of the bloodstream. And then, if you put enough organs together that are working towards also a common goal, we get what's called an organ system. So for example, again, the lungs belong to the respiratory system, as does the bronchial tree, the trachea, the larynx, the pharynx, the oral cavity, the nasal cavity. All of those are one system, although you can further subdivide them into, say, the upper respiratory system or the lower respiratory system. And then, if you take enough of these organ systems and put them together, that's when you finally get to this thing that we are called an organism. So you're made of the respiratory system, nervous system, cardiovascular system, musculoskeletal system, endocrine system, right? And each of them are going to do one specific thing for the overall organism. So if you think about it, humans, you are really just a bunch of cells utilizing chemical energy that are just kind of layered and stacked together in sheets wrapped around things and just walking around and navigating this thing we call life. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.